welcome to GPTalks. And today I have a special guest. Meet Craig Ferguson. Craig is a recruiter and we worked together for a considerable amount of time. He's one of the very first recruiters I approached when I moved to Canada. And in today's episode, I would love to explain to you how the entire process of working with a recruiter looks like. And I'm going to start with the very first step when you connect with a new recruiter. How's that happening? Well, you go to LinkedIn, you'll find somebody who's a recruiter, and you're going to click send invite. So Craig, what is going to happen when I'm just going to send you a pure invite? No introduction, I'm just going to click send invite.
Yeah, thanks, Gerard. Pretty straightforward. What happens is I receive the invite. It's like receiving an email in my inbox from somebody on LinkedIn. Immediately, or when I have time, I'll review the person's information and find out what they're looking for. So if this person is interested in my help in finding a position, I will proceed to review their experience, the information that they have listed on their profile. I'm generally looking for very specific types of information on what technologies they use or the type of projects they've worked on in their past experience to see if it lines up with any positions that they have open at the time. Or I may just be interested in meeting that person for possible future positions that open up down the road.
How important is it to have a very well-crafted LinkedIn profile?
I would say it's fairly critical to make sure that you list the skill sets that you're highly experienced on. You want to have a matrix and you want to identify the ones that you're strongest at. I highly recommend not putting technologies in your profile that you're not strong on. So for instance, if you're good at JavaScript, certainly list that. If you have very little to no experience on anything, let's give an example like Node.js, please don't put it on. It doesn't make a lot of sense and really it could waste a lot of people's time down the road.
How important is it to approach a recruiter with some sort of a message? Like when I write to recruiters is, "Hi Craig, I'm Gerard, I really would like to connect with you. I'm a project manager and I'm looking for that kind of jobs. Let's connect when you have time." That would be my typical message to a recruiter. How important is it to indicate the type of work that I'm looking for?
I would say fairly important. You want to be brief as well. You know, if you're reaching out to somebody, be considerate of their time. Recruiters are very busy people. If you want to catch their attention, brevity in the message that you're sending is important. And if you're a project manager looking for a full-time position, make sure you're saying, "I'm a project manager looking for a new full-time position." Or if you're looking for a contract, please specify you're looking for a contract. Above and beyond that, that should be enough information for somebody to open and continue looking at your profile.
So once you review my profile and let's say you are interested in meeting me in person, what kind of qualities are you looking aside of technical abilities? What kind of qualities are you looking in a potential candidate that will make you confident in then presenting that candidate to a potential employer?
Very important with most of our clients that we work with is what we call the fit of a person. So you may have the technical ability to do the job, but there are soft skills that are required as well. You need to maybe work on a team, so you need to get along with the teammates. They want people generally in these positions that have a good attitude. Really, if somebody comes in with a poor attitude, it could be fairly poisonous on a team, and it can affect the performance of a team. So they're looking for people that bring a good attitude to the position, that have a genuine interest in working in the domain that the company is working in. So for instance, if a company is building software that manages their advertising, or perhaps if they're building software to manage anything that you can think of, internal business applications or accounting, the people that they want building those systems, they want them to be passionate about that as well. So it needs to make sense on the fit piece and on the domain that the company is working in. And I think that pretty much sums it up.
Assuming I already connected with you, we've met, and you like me as a candidate, what is going to happen then? Let's say you have the job posting that I might be a good fit for.
Yes.
What is the next step?
Well, I would then need to find out if you are genuinely interested in the position itself. So we go into that phase on whether it is indeed a good fit and whether you do have the technical ability. Now, once that criteria is satisfied, then what we do is go into presentation mode, and I would start using my relationships with my clients and reaching out to them directly, saying, I've identified somebody that I feel is a good fit for your organization. Here's their information. Here are the reasons why I believe they're a good fit for your organization. Here is the set of skills that I feel match the job requirements on your side as well. I highly recommend that you bring in this person for a face-to-face interview. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. You know, if you have a good relationship with the clients, which I generally tend to do, then they're usually very receptive on candidate presentations.
One thing that I know a lot of people ask me when I was discussing my idea for this video series was, are you going to ask a recruiter why do they need to know my salary range? I'm very uncomfortable telling them. Why people are uncomfortable saying the salary range and why you need to know it?
Well, I mean, it's quite obvious why anybody would be concerned about that. It's very private, personal information, and you certainly wouldn't want that getting out for a variety of reasons. I don't need to go into that, but everybody has their own personal reason why they wouldn't want to reveal that. However, your relationship with your recruiter needs to be one that's based on trust. And really the reason why we need that information, and we don't need specific information. What it is that it's valuable to know the range that you're in. We can assist you with that as well. We do this all day long and generally have a very good idea of what somebody's value is in the marketplace. But again, it still needs to line up with your expectations and the company's expectations. So for instance, if I am dealing with a candidate who's looking for $100,000 a year and the client can only pay $80,000 a year, then there really is no need to get into the process. It really would be a waste of time finding that piece of information out after your fourth interview.
Yes. I'm glad that you brought that up, because a lot of people might think that the recruiter is generally going to bring them more money if they would go themselves. I don't think that's the case. I think every particular job opening has its own sort of bracket in which the employer is willing to pay, and whether that's a recruiter or yourself negotiating for yourself, it's still going to fall into that bracket. Would you agree with me on that?
Well, I would say this. Pay is one aspect of getting a job. It has to line up with what you do skill set wise. The organization needs to offer you a career path. Most people are very concerned about that. There are many other factors like equity, like bonuses, benefits, all sorts of different variables that come into play. So really it is not just about the salary, and it's not about maximizing what a recruiter could possibly get for you. It's more balancing all the different pieces out together.
Let's say you have all the information about me now. You have my profile, you have my resume, you have the job opening that you think I might be a good fit. Once you presented me to the company that is looking for that talent, what is going to happen then next, aside of the interview? From your perspective, what is your involvement during the process when I'm being interviewed?
Yes, one resume or profile is being reviewed by one of our clients. Often there will be conversations in the background, maybe confirming certain skill sets. A client may reach out having a particular question about a certain piece of experience, and so on and so forth. Once that's been covered, then we get into scheduling interview times. Very simple. So it's more or less trying to find out if the person who is hiring for the position is available at a certain time, and then making sure that the candidate's available. And so the recruiter does a lot of coordinating in that respect.
How important is it to establish a relationship with the recruiter?
I would say it's fairly important, given that finding a job is one of those very important things in life. And especially if you view it as a career, a long-term path for your career. Partnering with a recruiter and developing a good relationship can only be beneficial. This person is your eyes and ears out in the marketplace, and they will recognize opportunities on your behalf, even when you're not there, to recognize them for yourself. So it is quite important, I would say, to have a good relationship. Maybe have one or two good solid recruitment relationships.
How important is it to negotiate good benefits and other added value?
Well, it's based on the individual. It depends what is important to you. It could be salary, it could be benefits, it could be bonus, it could be vacation time. Everything's a negotiating piece. And it also depends on the client. Some clients have their benefits and salary and so on and so forth etched in stone, and they're very, very difficult to change. If they're larger organizations, I find that tends to be the case. Some of the smaller operations are a lot more flexible, and they can do custom offers based on individuals and what their preferences are. But I think the message is generally everything is up for negotiation in general, and a good recruiter will negotiate those pieces on your behalf.
Let's assume this is my first time working with a recruiter. I never worked with one before in the past, first time, and I'm not sure who's going to cover the cost of the entire service. How does it work from that end?
Very straightforward. The client pays for the service. 100% of it is paid by them. So on the candidate side, it's free of charge.
Pretty straightforward.
Very straightforward. Yeah, the client pays because they're the ones that need the talent. They're the ones that have hired the agency to go out and find people for them.
If I were to ask you for 2 or 3 tips for a candidate, how would they interact on, let's say, an interview with a recruiter? Not with the company, but with the recruiter. What would be like 1 or 2, maybe 3 tips that you could give to my viewers?
Well, I would say certainly if you land an interview with a recruiter, that you have knowledge in the domain that you claim to have knowledge in. Time is very valuable. It's valuable to you, and it's very valuable to the recruiter as well. If you show that you have a genuine interest in applying for a specific role, and you do have the skill set, it's a good way to start off the relationship with a recruiter. I always recommend in any interview, it doesn't matter if it's with a recruiter or with a company that you directly applied to, attitude is very, very important. So I always recommend being very positive in an interview, positive language, and at least showing a genuine interest in the position that you're applying to. Be maybe somewhat animated if you can, and very friendly, and you'll find that goes a long way in the relationship.
What would be a good advice for somebody who's just starting their career and they might not have enough experience or enough skill set or enough education to land those nice, juicy positions out there? What would be your career building advice?
Well, to start with, the nice, juicy positions come only with hard work and experience. You're not going to get a nice, juicy one right off the bat. So I would dispense with that thought process right away. But in all seriousness, I would say you just need to get more knowledge in the areas that you need more knowledge on. If you're trying to land that first position, flexibility is important. Do not think about money on your first job. You think about getting the job. So if it's not as exciting of a pay level that you may be looking for, but you can't find anything else, then I recommend going with that position, getting the experience. Once you have experience, then really the whole world opens up quite nicely, and the opportunities and the higher pay start happening.
Craig, thank you so much for your time and for the interview. what would be your final advice for my viewers?
Well, I just highly recommend that people take a look at a good recruitment agency as part of their job searching process. It's extra eyes and ears out in the marketplace, working on your behalf for free, trying to find a job for you. It absolutely makes total sense to utilize our services and to see if we can find a job for you.
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Guys, thank you for tuning in and staying with us for the entire interview. I think Craig was able to bring quite a lot of value to you. And I would invite you to ask your questions in the comments section down below. I can pass them on to Craig and then get you the answer. I will also provide a link for Craig's LinkedIn account. And please do connect with him if you're local to Vancouver area. Obviously, he will not be able to find you a job in different parts of the world, but here locally he might be able to help. So feel free to connect with him. And as always, thank you for watching. Click like if you like this video, leave a comment if you have anything else that you want to share with, and subscribe if you want to be notified of any new videos coming up. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.